Alrighty, welcome to another episode of the warm up, the yelling at parked cars warm up, to be more specific on the title, where we get you ready to go over to Comics Division's channel in about an hour and a half and listen to what him and the others have to say about current events. But we just want you to tune in here first and get yourselves limbered up and so to help prevent injuries. So anyway,
Yeah, don't
welcome
don't pull it.
and
Don't pull a hammy. Don't pull a
yeah.
hammy, a guinea, or any other kind of small animal while you're doing this.
And with that, welcome Tommy and the guinea pigs and uh, our beautiful limey bastard from across the pond, Jens.
Our international correspondent.
Yeah, there you go.
Good day to you, gentlemen.
Oh, I love it when he talks normal. When he improves his vocabularistics.
When I speak with the proper English accent, that you have to.
Yes, I love posh Jens. Yes,
Mm,
I love when you get posh.
Certification.
So so what you been excuse me. Of course I'm gonna start to have like a scratchy throat and whatnot as soon as it starts screaming. But what you been up to there across the pond?
Not much, not much. I was saying, like, I've gone to try and get some open mic nights, spots, and that, going to different pubs, making sure the open mic nights are still running and that.
Are you still doing that YMCA bit when you go up?
Yeah. Finish it off within the Navy.
I love Jens. Jens is awesome.
Hey, why we got to be hating on the village people? Oh no,
I'm not. I cover two of their songs. It's Tommy, I think you'll find. Yeah, why are you waiting on the village people?
I'm not hating on anything.
You don't like what? You don't like builders and fucking Indians or something?
Hey man, I don't care what they do in those construction zones. That's their own business. What's up, Lasso and Kai? What's going on? Hey guys, be sure to go ahead and share this one out for Shellback. Make sure we get some views up here, get some eyes in here. We're gonna have an interesting one.
Yeah, share the stream, save the dream, yo. I do have to admit though that when I found out how the village people like to swing, it did put a different light on some of their
Well, originally it was only one of them because I think the other was straight, but the one who got dressed up as the Indian, he was supposed to be homosexual, but the rest was straight. Even though that biker dude, I was thinking, yeah.
What's up, everybody? I'm just coming in hearing about village people, and you're saying that only the one dude was straight? Because I mean, they all look like they look like they like dick.
No. They look like they like to have fun with the boys. That's different.
Yeah, have fun in the boys.
That's YMCA. You keep yourself clean. You can have a good time. You can.
Yeah, there were a good amount of gay people hanging out the YMCA too. They don't discriminate.
No, they're talking about ping pong, not fucking sucking cock.
So wait a minute. Are they having fun in the boys, with the boys, or with their boys?
I think it's
I think
all
this
of the
is
above.
Okay, all right. I thought it was a very important question to ask. Okay, moving along.
There's only one homosexual in the village people, apparently.
Yeah, but
I think what it was though was the Indian dude was the main sort of like writer in that, and so he called most of the shots. So I think he got his
He
straight
caught
mate.
most of the shots. I bet he did.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did you say he called most of the shot or catched most of the shots?
I heard caught.
Bit of both, probably. Anyway, I think it was his idea to get dressed up really gay, and and if you aren't gonna wear the fucking like bikers and like builders suit, and I was one with a cowboy. I don't think there was, but anyway, if you aren't gonna get dressed up like that, you won't in the village people. You won't fucking get to go to the YMCA.
All I'm saying is after that, every time I seen a guy at a construction site, I started questioning that person. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow.
well, now that we've alienated the LGBTQIA LMNOP
He was just gay back then. It was
plus community.
simple time.
How dare you? How dare you, Shellback? Don't you know that letters are the next thing that turned out to be racist?
Yeah. Well, I mean, math is right. So.
Oh yeah, math is very racist.
Anyway, how can fucking YMCA be all that gay when they did Macho Man?
It's just gayer. I mean, I'm not saying
because if there was really gay, it would have been I want a macho man, not I want to be a macho man.
Well, see, men are, we're physical creatures. We like to see something that looks good, and so the gay men know, like, hey, if I want to catch the most dick, I need to be in like peak physical shape. I'm gonna get more dick with a six-pack than a gut.
Well, if you can suck cock, I reckon fucking gays don't really matter. I think the macho shit was all for the women. I think it was just the gay dude that made them dress up in gay shit.
So anyway, all this gay talk is like a gay village people is that's a nice segue to on over to the Don't Say Gay bill.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a good warm up to the gay bill.
Yeah, not gay bill, not like a dude, not like a gay dude.
Yeah,
Bill.
we're not talking about Bill Clinton. We're not talking about Bill Clinton at the island, people. We're talking about something.
Yeah, we're talking about a piece of legislation that is actually called the Parental Education Rights Bill, right? I do believe. And just a little disclaimer. I have not been able to actually read the bill, but devil's advocate or whatever, neither have all the people that are talking shit about it. So but I have heard a lot of stuff, seen several videos, all this stuff. I've seen and heard several things about it, and it in fact, nowhere in there from what I've from all the news reports and stuff that I've heard, it does not say anywhere in there, don't say gay. It's talking about, there's no need to talk about, certain types of things with certain aged kids. And which, me as a parent, who still has a, I've got a son that, he's out of school. He graduated high school last year, but I still have another one that is 11 years old. So that's what is that? Fourth grade? I don't know. It's hard for me to keep up these days.
Math
but
is hard.
He's an elementary aged kid, and in my humble opinion, you don't need to be having any type of sex ed class before junior high, okay? And to me, that's kind of pushing it. Like me, back in the day when I was in school, I think my first quote unquote sex ed class was my freshman year in high school. So, and that was back in the 80s when we had plenty of sexually charged things at the movies, on TV, in our music. Like sex was everywhere in the 80s. Okay, so but we didn't need we didn't need our elementary school teachers telling us about shit. We learned on our own. Okay, and it's, I don't know what they think. What certain people think. Kindergartners need to freaking know this shit for.
I mean, we had a sex ed when I was in fifth grade, but it was like super basic, like literally. And both of the teachers knew that they weren't going to get a bunch of like 10-year-old kids to take it super seriously. So like one of them had like little sock puppets on their hands, and they was like making the sock puppets make out like slyly, while the other teacher's trying to go over like the drawing of a penis. But it was like super basic, and they didn't go to detail on it. But we had sex ed when I was in middle school, and I feel like that was a bit more appropriate. And even then, you had to get parents' permission. Like I had to go home with a slip while I was in my health class and bring it to my mom and be like, "Hey, I need you to sign this, saying that it's okay for me to take the sex ed class." And they went all out on us. We had a really bad problem with teen pregnancy where I lived, and so like they immediately brought up like the full slideshow of every horrible STD out there. Like, this is what genital warts looks like. This is what gonorrhea is going to do to you.
Yeah.
So are you saying that there's a whole bunch of little fuzzy peaches possibly running around somewhere?
Oh, no, I'm safe. I think so. I hope. I was a little bit older, but I mean, I was like 15 when I became active, I'll say. So and that didn't last very long. I'll just say I wasn't particularly desirable at that age. I was weird and awkward and sweaty. I'm still sweaty, but I'm less awkward. But no, there were literally, like, in my freshman year, there were girls having kids. We had a daycare in my high school for all of the kids, so they could be watched while their parents were taking math and history.
Yeah, we had like sex education and that.
We didn't have nothing like that, but
but basically it was showing you like diagram of like a penis ejaculating and saying, "Oh yeah, it goes," and then showing a penis. One of them sort of cut in half shots You know, where you see the penis inserting into the vagina and that, and it was like, oh yeah, this is how babies come from and that. Most of us knew by that age.
Oh yeah, I'd snuck into my dad's closet and found his porn collection by then.
Yeah. But like, yeah. Well,
That's how a lot of us dudes learned about things back in the day. You know, either it was either our dad or one of our friends' dads. You know, that had that, you know, stack of Playboys or whatever stuffed in the freaking corner of the closet, and you know, when they were, you know, when you know, the parents had a date night, or you know, they were otherwise occupied, you know, you'd sneak into the freaking room and you know, maybe swipe one or two from the closet and do a little reading. You know, I mean, the articles.
Oh,
you
the
know,
articles.
awesome.
They're so good.
But but you know, it's I don't know. It just seems like, you know, they're trying to push shit, you know, on kids that, you know, that they want to, kids that want to be freaking you know, robots and whatnot, you know. You know, it's like, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a Gundam. You know, it's like, and they're like, well, let me tell you about you know, transgender and whatnot. You know, no,
let's
okay.
grow up it. Because like Bill Maher was saying, and he's a fucking lefty liberal. He was saying, why are people wanting to teach kids about sex unless they're wanting to groom them?
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah,
Right.
you just got a point. Because as you say, like until kids get to about 11, 12 sort of thing, where they're entering puberty and that, like they don't really fucking think about it, because especially boys when they're little don't even like to see kissing around. They think it's girly. It's for girls.
Yeah, I don't know. I just,
I think it's sloppy though, isn't it? You know, like boys
okay.
don't really like want to
So
kiss and cuddle around until they get like in puberty and that's when it's like, oh yeah,
right.
it's
And
so bad.
so Kai is like, he thinks fifth grade is just the right age, with more and more schools starting middle school in sixth grade. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, uh, so like my school, and I graduated. I graduated high school back in 1989. So, um, but my schools, I think it was elementary. It was elementary from K through 6. Junior high was 7th and 8th grade, and then high school was 9 through 12. And but I know uh, some places have like 7th, 8th, and 9th uh, as junior high, and then you don't go in high school, doesn't start until 10th grade. But so I mean, I know there's variations here and there, but it's like what does he say? More schools starting middle school during 6th grade. You got to know before you show up. I don't know what you're trying to say there, Kai. but
I mean, it's anecdotal, but I can say there are a lot of we'll say active middle schoolers. I'm not saying I condone it. I'm just saying it does happen. My mom was a middle school teacher, and I mean, there was one instance where a girl got caught in the bathroom. She was in the boys' room, and there was a line of boys outside the room, you know, just waiting for their turn, essentially. So it does happen.
Yeah. And you know,
I think it's a saying and all that like they'll get teased upon and all if they don't know.
you know, and because like also there are girls who have gotten pregnant at 11.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I just like the new nominee for the Supreme Court. I'm no biologist, but you know, it is my understanding that as soon as a female human starts having a period, she has the ability to get pregnant. So yes, some females are barely into double digit ages by the when they start having that ability, and which it's unfortunate that that they get put into that situation at that age, but I don't know. I just don't think I'm like Jens in the fact that I don't think that we need to be quote unquote teaching this or having this curriculum at school
like at all
before the kids are in the ages, in puberty age,
Well, once again, I think this actually boils down to a problem where it's parental consent. Because if you're going to teach this kind of stuff and the parents say no and you do it anyway against their wishes, that is the biggest problem right here. And that's everything that has to do with that bill that DeSantis passed. It has to do with information being exchanged with the parents about what the schools are planning to implement. And that's what that whole "don't say gay" bill has to deal with. It has to deal with the schools giving the information up to the parents what they're planning to do before they do it. And that's one of the things that they haven't been doing. They've gone ahead and they've implemented these curriculums against parents' wishes or without even notifying them. And that was the biggest problem, because not only are they trying to push what would be considered standard sexual education, but they're preaching shit that is non-standard education, like some of the crap that you've seen in the books where they got gay scenarios being performed in the books. And we really need to subject the kids like to stuff like that? I mean, because number one, when you're talking about that kind of stuff, and you say, well, it's a good idea that kids know that some of this stuff is a bad idea to get into before they get into it. But how many of them don't even know about it until you're sitting there supplying with the information? You're basically giving the bullets in the gun to go ahead and start experimenting, because you're telling them, oh, well, this is what you can do. Okay, well, now that you've shown me that, I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, well, wasn't the case of showing like 6-year-olds or something how to masturbate?
Yeah, that was at like some summer camp that was going on.
Yeah. That's some definite bullshit right there. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I found out about that all on my own. So
yeah,
we don't need people. We don't need people telling us. How to do it or about it or whatever, and that's one of them things you need to discover on your own. Okay. It's I don't know, but it's some of it, like Tommy said, some of it is, quote unquote legitimate sex education, but there's a lot of it that is definitely can be categorized underneath the agenda, the current agenda that we've been dealing with the last several years.
Yeah, well, they're wanting to
and
turn kids gay, aren't they? And so they're gonna like get boys to toss each other off, probably.
Well, Rough Girl
yeah,
had sort of started an interesting point here a minute ago. She was asking where are the parents, and that was getting me to think like why are we even having the schools teach this stuff? Like why aren't parents more open to discussing these things with their kids? You know, why don't we leave it up to the parents?
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, that was part of the problem right there, and that's part of the reason why DeSantis had stepped in, because that option was taken out of the parents' hands the minute the schools decided to say, "Hey, we're going to start teaching this, and we're going to teach what we want to teach," and that was part of the problem. Instead of giving the parents the leeway to teach how they felt, they didn't like the way parents were doing it, and they decided they're going to do it their way. And a lot of the stuff that they were trying to push in school was like, oh, well, if you do gay acts, it's a little bit safer. And they were pushing shit like that. They were doing without the parents' consent. Once again, the parents had a right to be involved in these decisions, and they weren't. They were overstepped. Their authority was overstepped by these school districts. And that's where people started getting really pissed off. And they just don't understand these knuckleheaded leftist lunatics. They don't understand why that's a problem.
So to kind of play like the other side's argument, to play devil's advocate here, so they would say like, what about a young gay kid who is confused about himself that is going to the teacher in confidence because they know that their parents are going to, you know, excoriate them or, you know, potentially send them to some like uber religious pray the gay away type camp deal?
Once again, wasn't that what the guidance counselors were there for originally? Whatever happened to that?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's something that I would. So yeah, like if a kid came to a teacher, the teacher should be like, okay, Billy, let's go talk to Mrs. Smith, you know, the school counselor, and you know,
See what she says.
we'll go from there, and you know, it would be a good idea if if we also discuss this with your parents, and like, and we could, we could do it, we could do it here, at school, and which would take a little bit, pressure off of the kid, and it, I don't know, but yeah, something like that.
Yeah, they have a little talk at lunchtime or whatever. You're thinking, where's Billy? It's fucking. And,
But I mean, if the parents are like, no, we don't want you talking about this with our kid, then there you go. That's the deal.
They should get the final say, yeah.
But it's I know there's been parents out there that haven't handled certain things the best way, and so I mean I don't know, it's
is it kind of like falling to the least common denominator again? Like we're talking about what is most likely an uncommon situation. Like I went to a huge school and I only knew one dude who was gay, and when he came out to his family, they like full on disowned him.
Yeah.
So I mean, it sucks. I feel bad for him. He's actually done very well for himself, but that's beside the point. But he basically became homeless at 18 because after he graduated high school, he came out to his parents and they said, "You're gonna, cut that out or you're getting out of my house."
Right.
But we're now setting up a system to fall to the least common denominator, which is a common lefty tactic.
Oh yeah, they always go for the straw man, fucking extreme, fucking like with refugees and that. They always get the war torn, fucking look like they've just come out of a fucking bombed out building.
And that your friend, that that's definitely a shitty situation. I mean, like me, me personally, like, like if one of my kids was like, yo, dad, yada yada, I'd be like, well, I don't necessarily, I don't necessarily like what you're saying. Don't expect me to condone this, that, or the other thing. But I'm not gonna freaking kick him out on the streets because of it. It's like,
well, you have that where you don't agree with them, but still you're like flesh and blood, so you can't just kick them out on the streets. But if my son came to me and said he was gay, I'd fucking rip up all his Wonder Woman comics and bed fucking Black Widow.
And let me guess, at that point, you tell him, like, every time we go to fast food, you're getting the soy burger.
No, by that time, I'd be in a state of anger where I'd be just chilling out to some YMCA.
I knew you liked the Village People for some reason.
I could just imagine those arguments with Jens and his son, like, hey, did you take my assless chaps again?
Okay, what? All right. Why do they call them assless chaps? Because they don't have an ass. That's not chaps. Or some people pronounce it shaps, but chaps are not pants. Okay, they don't have a butt. They're basically like two big pieces of freaking leather or whatever the hell it is that covers the front of your legs. Okay, and then they have straps, buckles, whatever, to connect it around the back of your legs. Okay,
I'll explain it to you, Shellback. What it is instead of saying, "Oh, there was wearing chaps with no pants," they just say "arseless chaps." Where it's just basically they're wearing chaps but with no pants.
Yeah, I know the whole concept. I know the concept.
That's what they call them, chapless asses. It's just basically a short term for wearing chaps with no pants or a thong.
Yeah, I know. It's just always cracked me up that that phrase has always cracked me up because it's like, if you know what chaps are.
Like,
anyway,
I just tried Googling. Sorry, go ahead.
Jeans. I was saying, if you have chaps with an ass bit on them, they'll be like jeans, or leather jeans. So.
Yeah, I just tried looking up assed chaps, and yeah, they're not a thing.
Nope, but every time you hear them mentioned, they're always mentioned as assless chaps.
Yep.
Yeah, well, unless you're like actually a cowboy or in the rodeo circuit or whatever, they just say chaps. Okay, they don't say it's not Brokeback Mountain around the rodeo scene. Okay. Anyway,
when you were talking about chaps, chaps is actually the original Spanish word short for chaperones.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get back let's get back to the bill, and the excuse me.
They don't say so, bitch bill.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why people of the rainbow community are raising such a stink because of parents. Parents actually want to have the parents actually want to have the right say what or what or what not will be taught to their children in school.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is they want to be able to get notified for what they're going to teach. It's not even so much the problem with whatever curriculum, but they want to be notified of what curriculum that they're planning on teaching, and that's what this bill is all about. It's about them notifying parents so they know exactly what their kids are being taught. Because if they're being taught something that the parents don't agree with, why should the school board get away with it? Because overall, the school board is still under the authority of the parents, because the parents can vote them the hell out.
Right.
And I think there's so many people that just forget about that because they think, oh, well, the school board is this almighty entity. No, they're not. You can force them out. They've done it in a few places. Didn't they do that recently in California, a couple places in California where they forced the school boards out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's been a few places. I mean, not. I don't know whether it was Virginia or somewhere, but like that, like they got rid of every single person on the school board and put in a whole new freaking set of people somewhere. So but yeah, it's the I don't know, freaking power hungry or whatever words you want to use of these people that get on school boards, that think they're the freaking lords of the manor, and the parents are just the freaking plebs that need to freaking shut up and do their work, but
well, they're being controlled, aren't they? There's higher fucking powers at work telling them, right, this is what we want you to do. We want you to teach fucking 4-year-olds how to masturbate. Okay.
Not just to masturbate. They want them to learn how to masturbate their partner, Billy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That they might be non-trinary tree folk.
Yeah, I bet you they get like marks now, because it used to be on how good are the grades are. It'll be on how fucking soy the little boys are.
Been working on that gag reflex, Jimmy. Time for the test.
And that's the thing too, like the the age range that they're talking about. I mean, yeah, kids. Kids can be smart, right? Kids can be freaking, sharp as a tack.
Really? When?
At the same time, at the same time, though, when you're that age, kindergarten, first grade, whatever, you're and even older, you're impressionable as fuck. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
They're wanting to teach all this shit. Like I said, like I was kind of saying earlier, they're wanting to teach all this shit to people who, to kids who, one minute they imagine that they want to be an attack helicopter,
Well, I think you got it out. Go ahead, Jens.
Yeah, Jens, go ahead.
The brainwashing the kids out there. Well, they want to brainwash everyone, but there's people like us who fucking grown up, and we know like this is fucking real crazy ass fucking lefty loony crap. So they have to go for the young people to get them fucking brain, because you can tell a kid out and they're going to believe you most of the time. So that's why they go for the younger.
The earlier you get them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's part of the problem, though, is you're talking about the brainwashing. I mean, and the people that just fall right in line to whatever the tune happens to be that's being played at the time. I mean, really, you could look no further than half of the morons that are on YouTube doing some of their videos when they have no clue what the hell they're talking about. It happens all the time. I mean, how many times do we see somebody talking about a show they know nothing about? It's the same type of mentality. They hear somebody else talking about it and they just repeat the same talking points. And that's what you have with some of these people that don't even know what like certain things that are going on, like this bill, for example. and they don't know what the bill is. They don't know what the bill entails, what the wording is, but they hear a talking point from somebody else. They receive strong impressions from it, and they repeat that narrative, and they pass that on to the next idiot. And they do the same thing in schools with these kids. They come up with a narrative, they repeat it to one kid, that kid repeats it to another kid, who repeats it to another kid, and then you got that cycle. That vicious cycle that's going on where they're repeating nonsense, but they don't even know what is the real truth. They just don't even know anymore. They've been programmed to believe that this is correct.
It's like a pedo pyramid scheme.
Yeah,
the thing is, go ahead, Jens.
I was gonna say, well, most of them are, because there's been quite a lot of fucking books being released, aren't they? That's all about kid love and all this shit, and fucking man and boy fucking friendships and all this crap. But there's also them drag queen story time where fucking, I think most of them, I can't say all of them, but most of them, they've got like sex offence fucking records, and most of them are all on kid fucking like crimes and all. And like as Tommy was saying, there's them brainwashed parents out there who just been told that drag queen story time's fucking real good for the kids, so take them there. And there's some kids that like don't want to be there, but the mums are like pushing the kids there because it's like, oh, look, if you don't like queens,
they don't. Yeah, they kids don't need to see that. You know, whether or not you agree with any of these lifestyles or not. Okay, that is irrelevant. Okay, the kids don't need to see all this shit. Okay, they need to be there learning about freaking reading, writing, and arithmetic. Okay.
Well, not only that, but when did we get to the point where they're so worried about turning kids into mini adults that they're not even allowed to be kids anymore?
Well, yeah. It's all to mess up the brains and that, you know, because when you get them young and that, you're saying like you can just like brainwash them into thinking like obviously there's some things like if you said, oh yeah, the sky's green or something, then there's some things that kids won't believe because they can see it, but other things that they don't know about, you can easily like convince them, oh yeah, no, this is the way everyone does it.
So I just had a random thought. I was wondering how much of this is tied to, like generations that came, that like my generations before, it was like perfectly okay to just not know things. Like my mom had a good friend from high school who was gay, but like I didn't know what that meant for a long time till I was probably like middle school age, when we're talking about when sex education would be okay. But nowadays every generation basically just, you can know anything on demand, and it's the fact that like people don't know things is a bit
the internet like
yeah
was a gateway to like a lot of education, and so like some kids was learning a lot of stuff at an early age that we wouldn't have been able.
That's part of it. That's part of it too. A lot of these people that at least that I've heard about, they're like, well, I think these kids should know that I exist, or people like me exist. They're like, it's like they'll fucking find out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they will find out on their own eventually.
There's some things you don't teach kids, like drinking alcohol. You don't, like, adults, quite a lot of adults drink alcohol, and some kids drink alcohol and that. But you won't go into a fucking school and start showing kids how to make fucking vodka tonics and that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I know you're talking about, all this information is sitting at the tips, everybody's fingertips, and you're saying a lot of kids. No, I would like to disagree with that statement. Kids are not really learning anything from the internet, because 9 times out of 10 they're going into these forums with their stupid ass friends, and they're learning from these idiots on the internet who heard it from some other idiot on the internet who was just spewing nonsense. Because I'm going to give you a story, and this pertains to my daughter when she was younger. And this is when the internet was still pretty prevalent. I mean, she was younger, but it was still a big thing. So these kids came up and they were talking about, oh, there's a brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle show that just came out. This new show with these turtle guys who were ninjas. And my daughter said, oh, yeah, that's something old. My dad taught me about it. It came out in the 80s. No, it didn't. There was no such thing before. It just came out. The information was right there at those kids' fingertips. But the only thing they seen, there's a brand new show with Ninja Turtles, and that's all they knew. Because a lot of these idiots, and you see it with some of these morons that are on YouTube once again, where their favorite site that they go to get their information is they go to Wikipedia. Like, that is the be-all, end-all site to get all your information. Holy shit. No, that is not a source for information. And so many of these other people are getting their freaking information from Reddit posts and shit like that. That is not real information. How about doing actual real research and look up real documents to find out what's going on before you sit there and start running your mouth about something you don't know about? And a lot of these kids are not very smart at all. They're not even book smart anymore. They're really they're idiots. If you look throughout the country, overall, the scores, the SAT scores and everything, they're starting to drop. That's why they're saying math and reading and writing, it's all racist. These kids can't pass anymore. Why? Because they're sitting there relying on shit like phones and everything, and they're not even getting the proper information anymore.
No, they're book smart, right? They're book smart. It's just the fucking books are fucked up. I some people know, some people don't, but here within the last, few years, right? I decided I wanted to try and get into a career that, I needed a degree, right? So I go to the local community college, pretty much every class except for the math class had something in the curriculum along the lines of, Whitey is bad, Whitey is an oppressor, Whitey is inherently racist, like to the point of, it's damn near in your DNA to be racist, and minorities, have an automatic strike against them because of the color of their skin. And, just all this freaking, for lack of a better term, libtard bullshit. Okay. And the thing is, it's not even a new thing in college. Like, they've already been freaking exposed to this shit in high school and even junior high or whatever, It's, I don't know. It's.
I'll just put to the point to Tommy that I said there was learning stuff. I didn't say there was learning useful stuff. I was just saying,
ain't that the truth?
Yeah. Well, the thing with kids and that shit is, today's generation is they've got so much fucking stuff to do. Because, like, in our day, what did we have to do? If we was lucky, we had a computer that would have to wait like 20 minutes for a game to load up.
Or you had to take over the phone line to get on the internet.
Right. No, the big computer when I was younger is when the Speak and Spell came out. That was like, wow, look at this thing. It could talk when I type on it.
But, it's, I don't know, the thing though is, it's like, those of us who would, that are, in support of this education bill, right? The other group of people that are like, well, you're an istophobe, if because you support this, and it's like, no, because it's got nothing to fucking do with you know, with being a quote unquote istophobe. It's
But the brainwash bitch is
stupidity.
trying to make you into a brainwash bitch. That's what it is. It's been going on for years. Like, I remember back in the 90s when people tried to tell me that fucking REM was good. I was like, fuck off.
Well, I mean, I think reframing this whole thing might work pretty well also. Like, if we let them know that the way the bill works is that if you have a, non-binary 4 or 5-year-old in class with their two moms come in on like parent-teacher day, the teacher's not going to be able to teach that non-binary kid with 2 moms about all of the straight couples that are in the room. Works both ways. That'll get them to change their minds.
Well, the thing is, a freaking, like I said before, that that same non-binary 5-year-old was imagining themselves as a freaking Boeing 747 like 2 minutes before. It's like it's like, how the fuck do you know that you're freaking non-binary or whatever the fuck at 5 years old? Come on.
It's all a plan to fuck people's heads up, because it's fucked your head up, Shellback. You can't understand why these fucking loons are wanting to fucking teach kids at a young age about it. It is because it's all a fucking plan to get people fucked up that they don't know. They start going to the cinema to go see Wonder Woman 5. That's what they want the kids to be so messed up that they see there's a Wonder Woman 5 film and they'll just be like, oh, Wonder Woman 5, gotta watch it. Being told so.
Well, it's also like training kids at a very young age to accept the idea of subjective reality, which is, postmodernism in a nutshell. So it's go ahead and teach them when they're, 4 or 5 years old that they can be a Boeing 747, an attack helicopter, whatever you want to, non-quadrinary, fake-kin, tree folk, whatever the hell. That way, when it comes time to really start injecting the stronger ideals of, Marxist ideology through postmodernism, they're going to be more likely to accept all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When they're told to go kill the parents because the parents have put a nasty tweet out slagging off communism, then they're like robots, and we're like, yep, okay. And it is for depopulation and all. Because if you make the kids gay, there's not going to be as many fucking kids getting born.
Yep. So can I just say real quick that, if anyone does believe in the depopulation, go ahead and look up some of the literature on that. It's basically been debunked since like the 70s. The whole idea of overpopulation becoming a major problem amongst just about any society is patently false. It's not a real issue we're going to come into. We have so many resources we haven't tapped into, so much area we haven't tapped into, and with our ability to stack people on top of each other, and so many people willing to live in these giant cities that basically become a bunch of shit-smelling cesspools. We're not even close to having too much of a population.
No, with the right infrastructure, yeah, the population that we got could easily live, but that would mean everyone having to do a fair share of their bit, and that's why the New World Order doesn't want that shit. They want to fucking depopulate the world to 90. Well, they want to depopulate 90% of the world, so they don't have to get computers.
I think the only thing we need to fear is the planet tipping over. It's flat,
Oh yeah. We'll all fall off.
Yeah, I know. We'll get too top heavy. We'll get too top heavy, and then Australia end up on the top side.
Then their toilets will start flushing the right way.
Yeah.
What are you more worried about, top heavy or bottom heavy?
So anyway, kids, the moral of the story is that the Florida education bill is a good thing, and the people who are butthurt about it need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, because they don't like parents' rights. That's what it really boils down to. They don't like the idea of parents having any rights. And you know what? This kind of shit actually started back in the 80s when they started really cracking down on what parents could and couldn't do. Like when they started telling parents, "Oh, you can't discipline your children this way." When they started doing that, that's what actually kind of led to bills like this being created, because they were trying to take more and more rights away from the parents and telling these kids that they could do whatever they want.
Yeah, when kids was phoning up hotlines and grassing up the parents because they was getting grounded for, or they was getting sent to bed or whatever, and they didn't like it, or they weren't getting McDonald's burgers, so they just make up some excuse that they was getting beaten up by the parents and they blackmail them and all that.
Ladies and gentlemen,
send the KGB on them.
Ladies and gentlemen, 32 flavors of Nick Weiser.
Hello. How's it going, guys? I came here at a very, very titillating time.
Yeah, well, I mean, and we were just about to, wrap up the Don't Say Gay Bill subject, but I would definitely love to hear.
But flavor 27 is a guinea pig jelly bean flavored Nick Weiser.
Ew. But I mean, I would definitely love to hear, your take on the Don't Say Gay Bill, because I mean, you are also a father of, then I would definitely love to hear what you got to say about the slap that was heard around the world.
Okay, so I'll try to be quick and not dwell too much on both of them. The first thing is with the DeSantis thing is, obviously it's good news. I mean, at face value, it's good news. However, you got to remember that leftists and crazy psychos always double down. So unless there's some like crazy firings that happen, because there's gonna be ones who are gonna ignore this or try to go do the little loopholes around this stuff, though. So they better be prepared for those who are gonna make loopholes. They're not just gonna be like, okay, well, we have to listen because Ron DeSantis said so. There'll be probably some that do, but be prepared for more of them to not. So you gotta be prepared
you know what,
for that.
Nick, one of the good things in that bill is that he put stuff in there for litigation for those that try to circumvent the bill. I do like that he put that in there.
No, and that's good. That is good. Like I said, we still gotta be prepared though. We can't just because this is good news doesn't mean you just stop here. You gotta prepare for those who are trying to work around this, because this is what these types are notorious for. Now, that said, ultimately it's good news. We'll see if it picks up steam, and hopefully, it could be something that could, translate to, other places. So obviously this type of stuff has to always start somewhere. And, we've seen it happen, obviously, with the Corona stuff, when things that they loved that we hated, they end up expanding. Who knows? Maybe this type of bill could do well and it could expand. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. But as of now, face value, it's good news. So I hope that this will maybe be something that DeSantis gets remembered for. Maybe come 2028, he can be considered let's just say a bit of a contender, might I add. Now, that's part A. Now, part B, obviously the slap. I don't think it was scripted. A. B. Chris Rock did literally nothing wrong. 3, now we just made the Oscars relevant again. So that's the bad part of it all. No, it's true. Even though Chris Rock literally did nothing wrong, because his joke was probably a very it was just a joke that probably reeked of no absolutely malicious intent. The fact that it was blown up the way it did, the Oscars are now relevant again. That was something I was not hoping for. So
I wouldn't call them relevant.
Oh, it is. Trust me.
Well, because people aren't talking about. They're not talking about the Oscars. Like they're not talking about, the different movies and all that stuff. They're talking about freaking Will Smith smacking Chris Rock.
Yeah, but that's all they wanted, and that's why for the past few years, every time you see the Oscars, they're coming up with something to take center stage because they know nobody is tuning in anymore. And you know what? I mean, the one thing I would say, I do believe that this was staged. It just seemed too perfect that they were getting their lowest ratings ever, and then this happened, and then everybody's talking about it. Just like you're saying, Nick. This is the type of attention they wanted, good or bad. Any attention is good, especially for a company is floundering with their ratings on their show. Mm-hmm. And there were certain things in there that just seemed like a tell to me, like him leaning in. Him kind of smiling and sticking his chin out, putting his hands behind his back. I mean,
yeah, I'm not going to say that it wasn't. So maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But ultimately, the biggest issue here is it's got everyone and their mom talking about it. Like, there's a few funny memes of it all, but the amount of talking about it, this is what they want. They love the attention so much. That these type of people are the biggest attention whores. We say that a lot about everyone, but I think an added emphasis needs to go with the Hollywood celebrities. They crave this type of attention, and now there's gonna be eyes, maybe hopefully not too much more on next year to see what the shit show is gonna bring. I hope I'm wrong, but right now that's just where I see this going.
Right. Well, my stance.
Jerry Springer.
Yeah, my stance is, it's like if it was it was either staged, to drum up freaking views for something that has basically been dead for the last several years, right? Or if it's not staged, Jada and Will have no fucking sense of humor, okay? Or it's just Jada that doesn't have a sense of humor, because if you watch the freaking footage, you'll see that Will was laughing, okay, at first, and then apparently Jada said something to him off camera, when the camera wasn't on them, and that's when he walked up and freaking popped Chris.
Yeah, that's right. She gave him the Biden speech. Go do that thing. Go do the thing, man. The thing.
And it's like
they created a scenario and we responded to it. So,
but I mean, it's like you get, and part of the freaking staging thing that I think about is like, okay, so apparently Jada has freaking alopecia or whatever, so she like has been she's like shaving her head to compensate or whatever.
Fine. That's what she wants to do. Right? She wants to do. I get it.
And so that's Chris made the freaking G.I. Jane joke, because in G.I. Jane
she shaved her head. I know. I saw the movie. I'm not that young. But I'm 35 in a few months. Right. Trust me, I'm no toddler.
But the thing is, you're gonna get upset, or you're gonna step up to the dude that makes a joke about that, but you're not going to step up to the dude that has reportedly had special relations with your wife. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, also, even if this thing wasn't staged, do you think they're going to start staging more things for the upcoming award, the rest of the award season?
Oh, I wouldn't put it past them.
I think this might have been staged, and I think they're gonna have more things like this, because once they kicked out Ricky Gervais, everybody stopped watching it. He was the only reason people were watching it, to see him go up there and just shit talk the hell out of them.
It was marvelous. Well, what was the thing we were talking about in the green room beforehand? I think it's the one thing that everybody keeps forgetting about. What are these people?
Actors.
Adult pretenders.
Adult pretenders. Yep.
I know. And the thing is, like, there seems to be some controversy around that statement, but it's true because a lot of and that's not even whether you mean it by way of insult or by a literal profession. It's true. Most of them actually are. It's the fact that when you are an actor, you are supposed to be characters that you are not. Now, if you happen to have some, correlation or similar traits to character, obviously that's a bonus because obviously turning into acting mode is a bit easier. But you literally are playing a character you're not. Like obviously Tom Hiddleston is not a freaking frost god. He's got to translate his mindset into being a character like Loki. So I get it, but he's not an actual frost giant type of character. So that's I don't know why people find that comment so insulting because it's true, it's relevant. Once again, whether it's by way of compliment or insult, that's just an opinion that I feel like is very relevant. They are adult pretenders, whether people want to hear it or not.
Yeah, well, Will Smith's acting though was a bit shit, I think, because either as saying he was laughing and that, and then his missus was like, "Oh, are you gonna let Chris Rock take the piss out of me?" And then instantly he's like, "All right, well, I'll just act like I'm pissed off," and then because the slap was weak and that, like if you like Tommy was saying, if you're gonna slap someone, you can slap them really hard and that you can knock them to the ground and that. But yeah, it was a weak slap and that. And when he went back to his chair, he started shouting, "Don't fucking get my missus's name out of your mouth." And
yeah, it was like he was putting on a performance.
Yeah. It reminded me of Bad Boys too.
Yeah, keep my wife's name out of your mouth, but you can put your dick in there.
Yeah. That's part of my deal,
Yeah, there were all the couple jokes
and I heard the open relationship thing mentioned a long time ago. Okay, and if that's your thing, so be it. But like I said though, it's like I've also heard things along the lines of Will might not exactly be on board with that type of lifestyle, or anymore or whatever. But what was it here recently? And I don't know. I say recently, but in the recent past, I believe Jada said something about don't let your husband get in the way of finding your true love, or I don't know, some bullshit like that, right? It's like, or don't let them get in the way of you finding happiness.
Yeah, happiness. I believe that's the way that she phrased it, happiness.
But it's like, I'm like, what the fuck, I'm like, it's like, it's like, way to make Will look like a fucking cuck-a-doodle-doo,
Right, like he could have gone up there and said something like, "So yeah, I heard about you guys' open relationship. Hey, Jada, call me later." Or he could have gone even harder with, "This is the story all about how my wife got turned upside down." Like,
right?
So much
no, dude. Seriously, if he would have walked up to me,
joke about her hair.
Yeah.
If Will Smith would have walked up to me and freaking smacked me like that, he would have done good to freaking make it back to his seat. Okay, and B, if I wouldn't have freaking tackled him for a ground and pound, I would hope I would have had the presence of mind to say, well, I guess this means I don't get nexties after fucking August.
Oh, come on, tell the truth, Shellback. If he would have did that, you would have said, "Here, you want to try again? Because you hit like a bitch."
And I'm pretty sure Jada would have been okay with watching that ground and pound.
But it's and I mean, I had some, I did have when I was back in my Navy days, I did have some dude walk up to me and just like freaking haul off, but it wasn't a smack though. I mean, it was fucking knuckles, and I'm like, and I was kind of like Chris Rock, and like I was like, wow, what the fuck was that for,
Well, here's
it's like.
Hey, Shellback, here's one other thing I want to ask you all if you had noticed. Now, the minute that this happened, they were pretty quick, and I forget which news agency it was, but they were already reporting that Will Smith had punched Chris Rock in the face during the award ceremony.
No, that wasn't a punch.
And that was something else that kind of me like, yeah, okay, like how quick were they to jump on that?
Oh, dude, I saw a fucking tweet or whatever, and the dude was like, "The internet is too quick," because I mean, like it was like minutes, like seriously minutes after the supposed event happened that somebody freaking put that little Oscar clip in with the freaking the opening sequence of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Got in one little fight, my mom got scared.
Well, Lasso of Truth, the reason I mentioned it like that, because they were already kind of promoting it to be more than what it was. Like they were trying to draw attention. That's what it seemed like to me. Now, with the way the internet is set up and everybody can get that information almost instantly, the fact that some news media company would say that he punched him to try to get more attention just seemed very suspect to me.
Yeah, well, as the newspapers say, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
But yes, he open palm slapped him like a girl, which is why us toxic males refer to it as a bitch slap.
You cut out there a little bit.
Yeah, you went all kinds of speak and spell for a minute there.
Yeah, Shellback headroom.
I did.
Yeah,
I did. Oh.
You did.
No. Oh, no, I just said us toxic males, referred to that as a bitch slap. But I don't know. I just think it's. Go ahead, Jens.
Yeah, I would say, and Chris Rock, because that's why I think it was staged and all, because he knew it was coming and he rode the like slap, like moved his head just slightly before the slap came in, so it makes it less harsh because it's called riding sort of thing. You go with the punch or slap and you just roll it off your sort of face. You like ride with the punches sort of thing. But yeah, and so it wasn't even. It was probably one of them slaps that really didn't even hurt that much. It just looked fierce, bit like in wrestling. Because yeah, I've just fucking reminded myself. When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, it looked like he was doing The Rock, as in Dwayne the Johnson slap.
Yeah, one of those smacks where they like smack them on the chest and everybody's like, "Oh!"
Yeah, and the stamping on the mat as the slapping, so yeah. Makes it even look more fierce, but yeah.
I mean, maybe they did some like Three Stooges training beforehand.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, and like they say, like there's, the quote unquote, there's no such thing as bad publicity or whatever, because it's,
You gotta get
you know,
publicity.
it still gets the attention that they want it to get.
Yep.
But
That's where I feel like they ultimately, in some ways, win because they don't even care at the point. They're so desperate for the attention that they're taking what they can get right now. That's just, I truly think they will take what they can get. It may be forgotten about in a few weeks or months, but now they may have set an expectation of what could happen next year because
the
this
thing
was such an
is,
impactful thing. I hope it fades in obscurity. It just right now, I'm at the point where this shit needs to die and either come back from the ground up or something needs to replace it. And I feel like by this thing like possibly being long term relevant, that'll just keep things the same. And that's what I'm worried of. I want to see things actually change. I truly believe shit like this will not have anything change.
but I mean, I don't, like I said, though, I don't exactly think that this gives them relevancy, because I mean, I don't care, I don't care any more about the Oscars now than I did before I freaking saw this shit. Okay.
Well, the whole thing just kind of smells of desperation, really.
But I mean, to me, I kind of like it because it has given us yet another opportunity to roast the fuck out of them. So.
Yeah, but they expect that now. Like, think about that. They're so used to getting roasted. Of course, they'll get mad about it, but like, I don't know. I don't feel like this is as impactful as we think it is. I truly believe we're going to be back at square one if we keep letting this be what it is.
Well, yeah, I think they're going down like the Jerry Springer route where they had so many crazy guests that like people got like a bit bored, and so they had to even get more crazier guests, and then they went into that fight mode where they was letting them just fight and ringing a bell and all this shit, and that's why I think the Oscars will be going down the route where, yeah, maybe next year there might be a like fucking bitch fight in that where one of the actors gets a top ripped off.
I think the best that I've seen on Twitter for as far as this is concerned and where they might possibly go is they should absolutely bring in Iron Mike Tyson for next year.
I mean, look, if this stuff if the Oscars every year turned into like IRL celebrity deathmatch, I'm tuning in every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think probably by like 2027, yeah, we're gonna see some celebrity deathmatch.
All right, Shell, I gotta go. Sorry I couldn't be on longer, but I'm glad I at least finally come by, and I'll try to come by again next week. Thank you for letting me come on. I gotta get ready to yell at park cars, but to the chat, if you're not coming to yelling park cars, have a good night. If not, I will see you in a few minutes. Until then, I'll see you all soon.
Later.
All right,
Nick.
Appreciate it. But yeah, and that's a good. I think that's a good stopping point. We need to wrap it up so we can send all you guys over to Comics Division's channel. And,
that's right. Wrap it up, B.
See what they got to talk about. I'm sure that I don't know if they'll be talking about the slap or not, but it's always a good show over there. So let's just plug whatever we got to plug, and we'll get out of here. We'll just go around, I guess, counterclockwise. So Freeze, what you got?
Yeah, everybody, you can find me here at Freeze Peach Gaming on YouTube, Odyssey, and Rumble. I'm live streaming Mondays before this show from 7 to usually I hop off a good 10, 15 minutes before the show starts, but sometimes I stick around a bit later if I get on a tangent, starting at 7 o'clock on Mondays. Then on Tuesdays, you can find me over at Supreme Heretics channel doing the United Resistance podcast with Tommy over in the other corner. And I hope everybody out there has a wonderful day. Remember the importance of teaching 5-year-olds how to wrap it while we wrap up. And Florida did nothing wrong. Gotta love Ron DeSantis. I don't live there, but I'm pretty close. So glad to see that there's at least some pushback going on. Everybody have a great weekend, and I'll see you over in the Yelling at Parked Cars chat.
Jens?
Yeah. I'll hopefully be releasing a video probably tomorrow about toys going a bit soy, according to Todd McLean. And then I'll be doing a stream on Tuesday. Don't know what time and that. And then Wednesday I've got my Bond stream where I'll be doing review and full spoilers on For Your Eyes Only.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Yeah, you like my eyes For Your Eyes Only. Yeah,
dude, I had a thing for Sheena Easton back in the day. Okay.
All right, yeah, got fuck all to do with the film. Just who's the Bond girl?
Clean your shell. Clean your shell, Shelley.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, she's one of some fucking the theme tune, wasn't it? For Your Eyes Only.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, fuck the film, just as long as the Sheila Easton's doing the theme tune. Like,
Yep.
Well, yeah. Good song.
Right on.
I don't like it. But yeah, and then I've got the Twitter account at 27A Pedersen. Cheers, you're back. Yeah.
Right on. Cool. Again, like last week, I apologize for not being able to throw links in the comments for all these lovely gentlemen, but one of these days I'll the production value will increase. And I'll be able to like post links, in the comments or in the description and all that stuff. But anyway, Tommy, what you got for us, man?
Hey everybody, what's going on? Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. You know me and you know the pigs, and you better get with the assimilation program before we come to your house and get you and take you by force. Of course, we just got done earlier with the Monday stream at 6 p.m. Eastern with Going Old School Retro Discussion, and we'll be back again on Thursday right after Red Gaze and the Probe at 7:45 Eastern with United Underground Presents Collectible Pass with Vinny Tartamelli and myself, talking about some of those retro toys that are being done right. And of course, as Freeze Peach already mentioned earlier, we're going to be tomorrow, hopefully, if Drew's running the stream, with United Resistance, where you're going to find Freeze, you're going to find Brahma Bull, you're going to find me, possibly Vinny, maybe ETEP. ETEP usually does show up for that. And of course, our host with the most, over 30 feet long, Drew. Dropping it all over the place, and we have a good time, and we call out the nonsense that we see, kind of like what we see with this bill right here, with all the idiots talking nonsense when they know nothing absolutely about this bill. But you guys are absolutely wonderful. You guys are terrific. Thank you for coming. Thanks for sharing it out. And remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not watch, because your silence gives consent. Thanks, Shell. Thanks, Freeze. Thank Jens. And thank you, Nick, for stopping in. That was absolutely fun, man. Catch you all next time.
So real quick, Trina, unfortunately, I'm not, excuse me. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing any option on this phone for me to click on you or anyone else to make you a wrench. I don't know whether it's the app or the phone or both.
No,
But
it's thingy Shellback, I think, because I have trouble modding people, but I think what you got to do is go on your YouTube channel.
The YouTube Studio or whatever.
Yeah, go to YouTube Studios. Yeah.
Well, the thing
Yeah.
is that the YouTube Studio app is not the same on this phone as it used to be. Even on the other phone I had, I think, and I definitely know it's different than the YouTube Studio that you get into when you're on your computer. But anyway, hopefully one day I will be able to rectify the situation of throwing up links and whatnot. Maybe I'll be able to do it in the description in post. But I I definitely appreciate the offer, and you're on the list, Lasso. So anyway, with that, I definitely appreciate everyone tuning in, and I appreciate these gentlemen who showed up onto the panel, and because it would have been a little bit of a boring show, or not as exciting if I had to do this shit all by myself. So anyway, thank you all, and I will leave you with this. In the great immortal words of Stephen Walton, clean your pee. Good night, everybody.
Night.